The views and opinions expressed by the guests, callers, and hosts on this and all Rense Radio Network programs do not necessarily reflect or agree with those of the network, its commercial sponsors, its radio station affiliates, or internet broadcast platforms. In these controversial times, we believe the First Amendment and freedom of the press are absolutely essential to the survival of our nation. Thank you. And now, enjoy the program.
Okay, and welcome back. It's time for our monthly Creepy Criminal Reverse Speech Special with David John Oates and Christian Cadieux. Hello, David.
Hey, Jeff. How are you?
I'm the same as I was last night.
Oh, dear. I don't know whether that's good or bad.
I'm not telling. And Christian, how are you? Welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. How's everything going?
All right.
Excellent.
These programs really are a little bit creepy.
They certainly are.
I got a couple of creepy reversals for you tonight, too.
Well, you teased a couple last night, which were very, very surprising. We'll hear those later, I'm sure. And for all of you who may have missed any of these programs, I guess we've done about three now? 3, 4?
3. This is fourth.
This is the fourth.
You can hear them in the archives, and when you hear these things, these are really monsters that walk amongst us. These are criminal, serial killers, mass murderers, you name it, gangsters, thugs. And when you hear them speaking forward and then find out what they're really saying in reverse through their subconscious, it's creepy. What else can I say?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's
it opens up the doors for so many. It opens up the possibilities for investigators and profilers from any type of law enforcement agency to get a better understanding of how a serial killer or the criminal mind ticks, what makes them tick, how they think, even from a metaphorical standpoint, what do they all have in common? What are the connections? And if certain, even, the behavioral analysis units of these different law enforcement agencies, if they would just take a serious look at reverse speech and how it can make the world a safer place among the criminal aspect and preventing these serial killers from doing the heinous crimes that they've been conducting, it would just be that much better.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was getting ready for this show today, analysing, because we're doing Ted Bundy tonight, for those who haven't caught up with the fact. When I was analysing reversals for Bundy, it was a particular YouTube video that Christian sent me to do, and there was an investigated couple. Can't think what his name was now. But
Robert Keppel. Keppel.
Keppel, that's it, Keppel. And he was just so intent on finding out what made Bundy's mind tick. He researched him for years, got hundreds of hours of tape, I guess. And I was just thinking, God, if he could just have access to reverse speech. I mean, you want an insight into the criminal mind? Well, here you are. You've got it right here, right now.
Yeah, algorithms could be formed based on the reversals of all these serial killers. And when law enforcement captures someone and they're interrogating, they could certainly use the algorithms from the the algorithms from what each of these serial killers have in common, the commonality aspect, and then put it to use when interrogating somebody.
Look, this is the single most important technology that law enforcement has never used.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would rate it right up there. I would say not quite with DNA work that they have now. DNA is absolute proof. This is tentative proof. This is rhetorical proof. But it's really important.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, tonight we're looking at Ted Bundy. So, Christian, why don't you fill us in on Ted Bundy, who, for those of you who don't know who he was.
All right. There's not much I can say about Ted Bundy that a lot of people already don't know, because right now, if you turn on the TV and you go to Netflix, or if you log in your Netflix account, everything is Ted Bundy this, Ted Bundy that. And Jeff, I got to tell you, after spending the last month, a lot of time researching Ted Bundy on my own through online YouTube videos and with David on reversals and whatnot, I have now come to the conclusion, and I never try to take a biased approach. I really don't. I always try to be open-minded, and because reverse speech is not biased, reverse speech speaks the truth. But Jeff, I've got to tell you, after researching Ted Bundy, the one thing that I realized is that sensationalism sells to Hollywood. Hollywood takes something, and that's not new, that's not rocket science, but it's never been so more evident than Ted Bundy. Now, I'm not saying Ted Bundy was a good human being, because clearly he wasn't. He was a terrible person, and he did horrendous crimes, to women all over the United States, especially in the Pacific Northwest. However, the media and people have taken the Ted Bundy concept and sensationalized it so much, and they've made it absolutely ridiculous. And in my opinion, there is no way that he killed as many people as he claims he did, because if you watch the tapes on YouTube and if you listen to the audio recordings, you can see how he's trying to use leverage right before his execution in the electric chair in 1989, in January 1989. You can see how he was just, he's a liar, plain and simple. And I'll tell you something else, Jeff. I've taken his audio recordings and I've ran it through a voice stress analysis, which is in fact a polygraph specific to the voice. It tells where somebody's lying and where there's stress factors. And when he's recounting certain stories,
right,
it's full of inconsistencies. There is no way somebody with a 1967 or 68 Volkswagen Beetle can kill as many people as he said. Ted Bundy is immature, even though he has an IQ. He had an IQ of 136. There's no way that somebody could have killed as many people as he said he did. Now, there's people who are saying he did. He killed more. I personally believe that this was done intentionally to sell to more books, more publications, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't think that this person killed as many as he did. Look, Jeffrey Dahmer's IQ was 144. Bundy was 136. Everybody screws up, Jeff. Everybody screws up. Dahmer screwed up after 17. And he was 144.
Right.
Bundy was 136. And he did 100? And he was so that intelligent that he evaded police and used so many forensic countermeasures? No way. I don't buy it. A lot of this has been done to sensationalize the Ted Bundy story and to sell movie. I mean, look at Silence of the Lambs. The Buffalo Bill character in the movie Silence of the Lambs, his technique of how he got his victims was based on the admission of the tapes stated by Ted Bundy. He would use crutches. He would have a fake cast on his arm or his leg, et cetera, and then he would use a crowbar and put him in his, a 1968 or 67 Beetle Volkswagen. I personally, I don't buy it. I think, the agenda here was to sell a lot of publicity materials and whatnot. And, I think David can agree with me that he shows remorse. I mean, even when he's being interrogated or interviewed by the detective Keppel, it's like he's playing games. He takes a piece of paper and he says, okay, I'm going to write down the name of a victim, of someone I murdered. I'm not going to say it to you. I'm going to write down the name. I'm going to show it to you. And then I'm going to whisper it in your ear. I mean, who does that except someone who's acting like a child?
Let me ask you a question, Christian. Is there any reason for us to believe that Bundy, Jim Jones, I think, is almost a lock, but that Bundy was involved somehow with advanced mind control ops, playing with his brain? Maybe they created this monster, MK Ultra kinds of things. Do you get any feelings about that?
Okay, I didn't. Now that you say that, here's how I will answer that question with something which is going to sound really weird. Do I believe this? I think that it's possible. However, I'll back that up. The one thing that a lot of people are unaware of is that when Ted Bundy was, when he was speaking to certain journalists, Stephen something or other, I forget his last name. I don't know if he was with the New York Times, but he spent a lot of time interviewing Ted Bundy. He said in one of his, while he was speaking about his experience with Ted Bundy, he said, and I quote, "This is going to sound extremely weird. However, when Ted Bundy would recall and would tell the stories of how he killed his victims, there was a blemish on his face, on his cheekbone, that turned bright white like a light bulb." Okay, so it's like a cyst on his face that's flesh color, but when he's talking about and recanting, this thing turns like into a white light bulb. So you know what, Jeff? There's a really good chance that maybe he was in fact associated with an MK Ultra program. I mean, everyone says he had this childish qualities, and he is, because he acted like a child. The kid was a child. He was, just because you have a high IQ doesn't mean that your disposition is going to be of a mature level. I mean, you can be an absolute genius and you can drop out of school. You can be terrible at school, but be an absolute genius. Look, now that you say that, I think there's a good chance that maybe there is a possibility that he was involved with a government mind control program.
I don't rule anything out anymore. The dark ones, are certainly capable of creating a sociopath, turning that person loose in society. They don't give a damn. Watching that person, tracking that person, and seeing what their dirty work will do. This is all an open laboratory for them, and nothing would surprise me.
David, what do you think? You think that there's a possibility based on some of the reversals that you found?
I don't see any reversals that suggest that, but, you know, I mean, I've only done a small section of tape on Bundy. There's a whole lot more out there.
Well, I'm not saying, David, excuse me, I'm not saying that Bundy is necessarily a candidate for that, but I certainly do believe that there have been others, certainly far more than Bundy, who might fit that kind of scenario. We just don't know. And another question, David, if he was a victim of mind control, MK Ultra, and they were able to compartmentalize this, who's to say that they couldn't compartmentalize his subconscious and bar it from even commenting on it?
Well, there's a couple of reversals that can, now that this has been brought up, that could be read in that fashion. Anyway, look, why don't we go through the reversals
yeah,
one
okay.
by one?
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
And see what they tell us. Okay. So the first one, this is on the video. What was the video you sent me? It was a...
I think Ted Bundy hold on a second. It was, it was Ted Bundy documentary in his own words. The Ted Bundy documentary, I have it saved here as Jeff Rense Criminality Show. Yeah, Ted Bundy documentary in his own words. That's it.
Okay, so the very first reversal was very surprising to me, and here we go.
I don't think anybody doubts that I've done some bad things. The question is what, of course, and how.
And it says that I was not proud about it.
I was not proud about it.
Okay, that brings up the immediate question. In your work, would a sociopath exhibit conscience like that, subliminally?
I doubt it very much. I doubt it. I don't know.
All right. I'm just throwing that at you.
I know where you're going with this, Jeff, and it's I'm liking it. I'm liking it because now, you know, the wheel, the hamster wheel is starting to turn here, and it's taken this into in an angle that I never thought of.
We have to remember what the CIA was doing in the 1950s with LSD, killing people with these tests. They'd commit suicide. They'd go crazy. They didn't know what was happening to them. So they'd watch them, and they'd learn, and they'd study. And this has been going on maybe long before that even. I don't know. But, yeah, I think these are all possibilities. Go ahead, David, please.
All right, here's the second one. This is when he's whispering. He gets into this whisper mode for some reason. So let's see if I'll crank up the audio a little bit.
You hear that?
I can hear you.
Okay. I just said that the Hawkins girl's head was severed and taken up the road about 25 to 50 yards and buried in a location about 10 yards west of the road on a rocky hillside. Did you hear that? Probably you would found the damage to the head.
Why he whispers, I don't know. But a very revealing reversal, quite clear, but it's a whisper, so I'll crank it up a little bit more. Sell this story, ain't gonna be bored in here. Sell this story, ain't gonna be bored in here. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Sell the story, ain't going in here.
Oh, it's clear.
It certainly is clear. Yeah.
Oh wow, Dave, I never
Yeah, do
heard
it
that.
again.
I didn't. That's great.
So why is he whispering, David? What is that?
I think Christian can answer that.
He's playing a game. He turns to the detective who's interviewing him, and he says, "I'm going to write down the name of somebody I killed, but I'm not going to say the person's name out loud for the camera to hear." So he takes this little piece of paper and he writes down the victim's name. And then he shows it to the detective. Okay? He puts the paper back down on the table and he just completely contradicts what he says. And then he whispers in the detective's ear the victim's name and where the body is. So there is this child behavior. There is this childlike behavior. I mean, despite the fact that he's a coward and he's a wimp, there's this childlike behavior that he's acting. Who does that? I don't know anyone that does that.
A coward and a wimp. Here, let me play a reversal. I'm just skipping about 10 reversals here. Listen to this.
But the guy fantasizes a lot, and he finds ways of vicariously experiencing the thing that gets him off, which in most cases.
He says, I'm a dick.
I don't hear the D. I hear an S.
Huh, okay.
Do you hear the S? It's soft. There's no D.
Okay, alright, doesn't matter. Alright, let's move on to another one. This is a metaphor. This is the third reversal.
But if you'd found that, you would have known who it was. Up to that dirt road, beyond the grassy area. I'll try to trace it here on a piece of paper. How about that? That might help a little.
And here he says, my whirlwind dead.
My whirlwind dead. My whirlwind dead.
And again.
All right, well, this is David Oates' specialty. You need to tell everyone what the whirlwind is.
Absolutely. Very common metaphor in reverse speech. Reverse speech talks about a unifying energy force that binds us all together. Very similar to the Force in Star Wars. And reverse speech calls it the whirlwind. And we all have an individual whirlwind and a collective whirlwind. And these two whirlwinds interact and communicate with each other. It's their energy, it's their life force, it's their connection to others. But my whirlwind dead means that he is energetically shut off from all those around him. Okay, so my whirlwind is dead. I have no empathy. There's a sociopath with the whirlwind dead. Absolutely. And there's a sociopath who's selling his story because he's bored. Okay, so,
well, I just all I know is that we've got on this planet, I think, a proliferating number of monsters among us, and I just often think about the evil that is truly contained in the black ops world and what they can do and what they have done. Look, some of us think about, well, maybe one day they'll be able to graft human heads on bodies. They've already done it. They've probably been trying to do that for 40 years. Take a head off a dead person, a newly dead person, and graft it to a living body, whatever. Head transplants. Whatever you can think of, I have no question personally, has been tried or will be tried, and in most cases it's a done deal. They just don't tell us. Todd, we're going to go ahead through the break on this one. I want to make sure we get all of our reversals in here. So go ahead, David.
All right, so that's the whirlwind dead. Here's another one.
And about halfway down the block, I encountered her and asked her to help me carry the briefcase, which she did, and we walked back up the alley. Across the street, turned right on the sidewalk, and found, I think, the fraternity house on the corner there. Midway in the block, there used to be a parking lot there, dirt surface, no lights.
He's lying.
Here he says, well, hang on, I'll play the verse and you tell us why he's lying. My rapist get enough.
I hate her. Get enough. I hate her. Get enough.
That's nice and clear.
I hate her. Get enough.
Why is he lying?
I'm saying he's lying on that because of the level of detail, David, that he's giving and he's expressing during the interview. I mean, he's talking about that's one of the segments that I ran with the voice stress analysis.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that he didn't. This was the university girl, Georgianne or something like that. And that went missing. I'm not disputing the fact that he did in fact abduct her and kill her, but the level of detail that he is admitting to is where the inconsistencies and the
all right, well, this next reversal in the same section backs you up. So here's the next one.
Basically, when we reached the car, What happened was I knocked her unconscious with a crowbar.
Did she see it?
No,
And here he says, another con.
not another con.
Nah.
Backs up everything you just said, Christian.
Huh. Well, this is his 15 minutes. This is his 15 minutes of fame. I mean, we're talking about a complete narcissist. Somebody who is loving the limelight. Jeff, the night before he's executed, he calls an evangelical minister who is part of an anti-pornography campaign. And Ted Bundy, in his final moments, he wants to be so self-righteous and tell the world how pornography is corrupting and is the reason why is a contributing factor to why we have serial killers in the world. I mean, this is the night before. He's grasping on everything he has. And this is to stay alive and to pretend that he knows or that he killed all these people and give more and more information, which there is irrefutable evidence. You can look on Wikipedia as well on many murders that he claimed where he gave the locations that there was nothing there. So he's loving this limelight, and this is his 15 minutes of fame.
Now, he got more than 15, but he was a walking legend during those days.
Yeah,
he was extremely. He made headlines. Wow, for a long time, many months.
But here's the thing, Jeff. I'll tell you one other thing. And again, I don't know. Maybe some people are aware of this, and some people aren't. While he was killing, and while he was sitting in jail, the Green River Killer was also killing at the same time. Now, Jeff, who's to say that there was no correspondence or no communication between these two?
Right.
In fact,
right.
Law enforcement went to him while he was in jail, and they took the approach, again, sounds like a movie, Silence of the Lambs. They went to go talk to him about the Green River Killer, sorry. And why is he doing it? What should we be looking for? But they claim, they being the law enforcement, that they wanted him to think. They wanted Ted Bundy to think that he was assisting law enforcement. However, they took a different angle. They wanted to see in his alleged, or what he thinks him assisting the law enforcement, that possibly he would screw up and say something that would give up a little more evidence to a possible location of a body or something that he did. So they were kind of hoping that through like a sugar-coated or a false approach to him helping and assisting law enforcement, that they're going to actually catch him in a lie or in something else. So, it's, I don't know, the whole Green River Killer and Ted Bundy, you got to admit that there's some relations, and who's to say that?
Did they ever catch the Green River Killer?
Yes, yeah.
And I can't remember the disposition of that case. I think he killed about 7 or 8, something like that.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Here, listen to this. These stories made enormous news in America. Enormous. Ted Bundy killed how many? What was the total that we know of?
Okay, well, he claims 30. He was convicted on three or four.
Right.
He's claiming 30 right before he died.
Right.
And then there's people like his remember, he represented himself towards the end, but in the beginning, one of his first attorneys said that he believes that there was hundreds. Detective Keppel says the same thing. I say no way. But I
sort of remember that now. Yeah, we never know about the numbers, but the point is tipping people over mentally and creating. Not that they did that with Bundy, but it's all within the realm of mind control, programming, and possibilities now. They have techniques that we can't even imagine.
Yeah.
breaking people down and reassembling them into whatever they want. It's quite doable.
Maybe this reversal hints at that. Next reversal. Here we go. Here's the forward. I gotta get my word in here tonight.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry.
That's all right.
We will not talk for the next half an hour, Christian.
It's all interesting
Yeah, right.
stuff. All right, here we go.
What did you do the next day?
Just went back to check out the site, make sure nothing had been left there. I half expected that she might not even be there, that somehow I hadn't even killed her.
Okay, now this is a strange reversal. Oh, I must have heard him beyond I'm a shithead. Oh, I must have heard him beyond I'm a shithead.
Well, I must have heard the beyond how she's scared. Oh, I must have heard the beyond how she's scared.
That's all there.
Oh, I must have heard the beyond.
Oh, I must have heard thee him. There's thee in there. Oh, I must have heard him thee. Listen.
Oh.
Well, I must have heard the beyond how she's scared.
Oh, the beyond.
Oh, I must have heard the beyond how she's scared.
Yeah, I can hear that, yeah.
Oh, I must have heard the beyond how she's
Thee
scared.
I must have heard thee him beyond. Thee him beyond. Thee him beyond. It's there.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. Who did he hear beyond?
Don't know. The voice of his handlers?
Maybe.
What I was wondering. That's what I was wondering. Here's another one that doesn't make much sense. Here we go.
So I went back to the parking lot and I found the pierced earrings and the shoe laying in the parking lot at about 5 in the afternoon. So I surreptitiously gathered them up and rode off.
Now, see, this is a bizarre one. Mum with the radios a shit. Mum with the radios a shit.
If Mum is the radios a shit. If Mum is the radios a shit. If Mum is the radios a shit.
I don't know. Did any mothers of his victims go on the air?
I don't know. Well, I'm sure. I mean, it's quite possible. I mean, we're talking about the 70s, 60s and 70s. There's a very good chance. I mean, they didn't have internet. The cell phones and internet. I mean, all that wasn't readily accessible in those days. So it's quite possible that maybe that happened, or he's referring to his mother, who he detested. He he could not stand his mother because she withheld his birth information from him and told him and led him to believe that his father was in fact someone else. And then when he found out later on, he despised and resented his mother and held a lot of animosity towards her on that particular, as a result of that subject.
Interesting. Huh. Well, there you go. One was the radio. I don't know. Okay, well, here's another strange one. Okay, all right. Let's continue with these strange ones that may lend credence to MK Ultra interference.
They couldn't have looked in the parking lot and missed the white patent leather clog and the 2 white pierced earrings. Hoops.
And it says, then the dark with them I fell in.
And it also don't have Belgian. Hear
that one?
Yeah.
Now, these are completely different reversals than we've gotten on any of the other serial killers we've looked at.
This is a different.
Dark.
This is a different.
Dark.
This is a whole different kind of. How would you call it? A psychological profile. This guy's different.
This is totally different. Hey, listen to this one. Yeah.
That no more than 2 weeks before, I have been using the same modus operandi in the same neighborhood. In front now of the same sorority house George Ann Hawkins disappeared from, I encountered a girl going out the door.
Okay, now you remember the reversal about he didn't want to be bored in here, okay? So, here he says, now my purpose is in fun.
Now my purpose is in fun.
Huh. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now my purpose is in fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Now my purpose isn't.
So who gave him the purpose?
That's what he's doing. His purpose now is having fun. He's talking to the police officers. He's making a name for himself.
Or was there another purpose? Could he have been programmed?
Well, that's possible. Then the dark with them, I fell in. I mean,
he fell in to the mind control world. I'm speculating here, and his purpose was given to him by them.
Yeah.
Okay, look, you know what? Maybe there's some credence to this more than I ever even seriously gave any thought to, because now when I think about it, he admits to, when he's telling the police how would he catch a serial killer, what he would do. Here's what he says. He says, I would go to, and now clearly he's referring to the Pacific Northwest, I would go to a cinema that was showing the most graphic and brutal slasher hacker film. And I would wait outside to see who goes in and then who comes out and then follow them home. I mean, and that's what he's saying. Now, if he is relating this information to law enforcement on how, you know, what they're on, if he could assist them in finding, you know, serial killers, who's to say that he never did that himself? He probably did. In fact, I think he admitted he did in fact do that as well. Now, we're talking about the 70s. Now, Jeff, I mean, you know all about the whole mind control and MK Ultra with the United States government. More than anyone I know, you're more fluent and literate on this subject. So it's quite possible that these hacker and slasher films that came out in the 70s, the B ones or the B style movies or the low budget ones, perhaps there was subliminal visuals that would, I don't know, that
could easily trigger latent psychopathy and sociopathy in people. Yes, absolutely. These could have been easily floated. Remember what they did to the black Tuskegee Airmen, all right, in the 40s? When they got syphilis, they didn't tell them they had syphilis, and they watched them all die. The government has no soul. Now, they'll do anything. So yes, in these movies, triggering psychopathic behavior would easily be done, and they just observe and watch. Sure.
Well, we saw that with Sahan, if you can remember the reversals I did on your show about that.
That was fascinating. Yeah.
Clearly show mind control. And I think Ted Bundy does too. This may explain this next reversal here. Now, on Sahan, we had a reversal about the therapy room. And here we've got the room again in this reversal. So let's play the forwards.
What I would do if I were trying to bring this guy to me, I'd find the bloodiest, coolest slasher movie that's out there in the can that's never been shown in the Pacific Northwest. A really vivid, lurid, sex murder kind of flick.
The investigators
that's
decide
exactly
to go for broke.
That's exactly what you just said.
I'm going to go buy a lottery ticket.
I think you better.
That's funny.
Okay, now, my Jeff didn't like this one, but I do, so I've written him on this one, and there's one word he doesn't like, but I can hear it. Okay, so it's a long reversal. I've got it as filth enact the room death, and the word death is what Jeff can't hear. And then the room vivid. That's a long reversal. Filth enact the room death, the room vivid. But Jeff doesn't hear the word death. So let's go. I can hear it on the lowest speed. So here we go. And lower speed.
Give it, David. Please give it to me again.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Filth enact the room death.
Filth.
Room
Filth. Enact.
F-O-T-H. Enact. E-N-N-A-C-T. The room death.
Okay.
D-E-A-T-H. Followed by another sentence. The room vivid. Okay. It's a metaphor. filth, negative emotions, perversion, enact the room death. Okay, what's the room death, and what is the vivid room? Okay, what is he seeing? He's seeing something in a vivid room, something about death. I don't know. It sounds ironically similar to Sahan and his therapy room. Okay.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So here we go. Filth, enact the room death, DEATH, the room vivid.
After the room exists, the room vivid.
You hearing it now?
I think he says the room is vivid, but the death is a little bit weak.
Yeah, that's what Jeff said too. Yeah. Let's play on slower speed. It comes clear on the slower speed. There it is.
No, that's not a clean death, David. It's not. It's got S's in it. It's something's not right there. That's how I hear it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, he's right. I'm wrong. Okay.
No, it's no right and wrong.
What
it's
is
just
the
different.
room? What is the room? Filth. Even if you take the word death out, filth enact the room vivid.
Oh, filth enact the room. The room is where the filth is enacted, of course.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
The room vivid.
I think the key word here is the room. The room, because that's what's consistent. That's what's consistent with Sirhan.
Yes, it is.
So if that, oh my God, I can't believe this.
You know what? Yeah, these are totally different reversals than everyone else we've looked at. Wow.
Well, that's very suggestive that there's something else at work here.
Yeah, this is mind control. I can see it. All right, next reversal. Here we go.
Can you see Ted Bundy contacting us in the future and saying, ready to talk?
Yes, I can see myself talking to you sometime in the future.
And here he says, I'm a weird fuck.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Weird seems a bit of an understatement for a serial killer. Anyway. And then we got this one here.
Ebbs and flows. There's sometimes I'm more interested in talking about it than others. I mean, it's certainly not something that I would rather do than anything else. I mean, if I had a choice, I'd rather be outside running around in the sunshine.
He said, if I had a choice, I'd rather be outside running in the sunshine. But backwards, he says, I chose the devil. Hear that?
Devil is a little hard. Let me hear it again, please.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, I can think it's.
I got the V that time. It's there.
Yeah. We got two more reversals to go. Here's the next one.
I don't want to beat around the bush with you anymore. I'm just tired. I just want to get back and go to sleep.
Okay.
So let me just tell you, the head, however, the skull, it wouldn't be there.
Where is it?
It's nowhere.
And he says, I need more. Don't know what that would mean. I need more what? No more attention? More sleep? He says, I just want to go back to sleep.
That could be anyone's interpretation, I guess.
Yeah, it could simply mean I need more sleep. Yep. And then the lucky last reversal, just prior to his execution. This didn't come from this video. This is one I had on file. So here we go.
Ted, it is about 2:30 in the afternoon. You are scheduled to be executed tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock if you don't receive another stay. What is going through your mind? What thoughts have you had in these last few days?
Well, I won't kid you to say that it's something that I feel that I am in control of, or something that I've come to terms with, because I haven't.
And so here he says, this did not validate my soul.
Did not validate my soul.
That's like,
well, that's quite
like,
the understatement, yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's like the whirlwind dead.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we have here? Let's have a look at all these reversals. We have a guy who appears to show remorse. I was not proud about it. This did not validate my soul. But a guy who shut down energetically to those around him, like whirlwind dead. He's out there looking for fun. He doesn't want to be bored. He's spinning the yarn. He's leading the investigators along. That's another con. Okay. But there's 3 or 4 reversals in there that can only be explained as some other interference of some sort. Okay. So, the room vivid, the dark with them, I fell in. I must have heard him beyond, or whatever other interpretation we had. Totally different kettle of fish than any other reversals we've looked at. You know what we don't see in here? We don't see the viciousness that we see in these other cold-blooded killers.
No, agreed.
Yeah, the viciousness is not.
There's no edge. There's no real terror in the guy's voice at all. It's a bizarre, passive, intellectual, almost a benign personality I'm hearing. It's weird.
Yeah.
Although he's anything but benign, I get that. But.
Yeah.
But see, I'm going to go along with Christian on this. I can't see that a man with these reversals killed 30 people. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. I need to see more. But viciousness isn't there. Someone's messed with his head. I'm fairly obvious about that. He has some remorse, and he's just out there now to relieve his boredom and have a bit of fun and string the investigators along. That's my conclusion. Christian, comment.
I'm with you on that. I agree 100% on what you just said. I don't think it's possible that on what he claims, and he's lying on many different confessions and admissions. I just think that this guy is an attention seeker. He's a narcissist, and he's what I refer to as an attention seeker serial killer. I mean, he's similar to Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, in the sense that he loves the attention. Ramirez, but certainly had the viciousness and the darkness in his reversals.
Oh, yes.
We all heard that. But and Dahmer is giving his apology speech in court in his reversals. His reversals are talking about severing a limb. I mean, we don't see this in Ted Bundy. And like Jeff Rense just said, there's something different here. It's not consistent with what other serial killers we've profiled with reverse speech. There's something missing here. There's something missing, and there's something unique and different. There is an element that I can't put my finger on. I just can't. And, Jeff, I got to tell you, I never even thought of the whole concept of mind control. And maybe the missing link here is, in fact, a government program that they chose him and they program him just like Sirhan. You got
I agree. This government has sprayed deadly bacteria in subways in America. They've sprayed over schools. They've sprayed over towns. There's no limit to what they've done to the people. They consider the people to be utterly dispensable. Everybody who studies this stuff knows it. We don't count.
What do you call the citizens of U.S. citizens instead of people? What do you call them?
Sheep.
Sheeple, right?
Sheeple. They're just disposable. They're Kleenex in a box.
Yeah. It's disgusting to think, but it's now becoming more and more evident that
human life means nothing. Do you know this whole illegal immigration invasion? Every year in this country, upwards of 5,000 American citizens are murdered and killed by illegal alien invaders. This is an invasion. This is a national emergency. And yet we're seeing an incredible swing toward socialism, communism from the Democrat left in this country. If this doesn't somehow get addressed and stopped, we will be a socialist country within half a dozen years.
I cannot believe what the Democrats are doing. I mean, their latest abortion bill.
It's not human. That's not human.
How can you even possibly put something like that out there?
No, how can you? I don't know, and it's not human. It's not acceptable. It puts the lie to Homo sapiens as being a sentient species.
Jeez.
Okay, you're going to have to elaborate because I'm not fully versed in what you just said.
Well, David can tell you off air. Yeah.
Okay, tell me off air.
Yeah, it's basically what it is. They now passed a law that they can decide after a baby's born if the mother wants it killed or not. As in aborted, but it's a fully formed, born child.
Live birth.
Live birth, and they wait until the woman makes a final decision. Then the doctor will kill it.
It's murder.
It's a total infanticide. This is where we are. This is where we are, and we are going down. This is not human behavior.
I cannot believe I'm watching the news on America seeing this.
Yeah.
And you know who's been flashing at my face all morning on Fox News? This Ocasio-Cortez lady.
Every day, 2 or 3 times a day, different photo story with her mug on it. Yeah, it's unprecedented in American media and journalistic history. Never seen anything like it. She has been created, she is being placed, inserted, implanted to be the new socialist leader in America.
Unbelievable.
All right. Kristen, great to talk to you again. Thanks for all the work you do, and it's fascinating.
Thank you so much.
All right. Talk to you soon. David, thank you very much. Gentlemen,
thanks, Jeff.
Have a good night. Okay.
Absolutely. Take care. Have a good night.
All right. And we'll be back with hour number 2 in just a few. Hang on.